We need to talk about your inbox. You are drowning in it. No matter what kind of work you do, chances are your inbox is where all your tasks, assignments, and important conversations live. And yet you treat it like a junk drawer, shoving everything in, never cleaning it out, and then wondering why you can't find what you need. But more than that, you're starting to get a sort of fight or flight response whenever you open your inbox or get a new email, because there are messages in there you know you need to reply to that have been sitting in there for ages and they're being slowly pushed to the bottom of the screen, which means you're probably disappointing someone or not being very good at your job. But here's the thing, your inbox is not a storage unit. Keeping it organized can actually save you time, reduce a lot of anxiety and stress, and help you keep track of what's important. And the best part is that you do not need to spend hours fixing it. Starting today, you can take control of your inbox in 10 minutes or less. So let's do this. So step number 1, let's start with a clean slate. If you've ever opened your email and immediately felt like closing it again, you're not alone. Sorting through hundreds or thousands of messages feels like a nightmare. I mean, it is a nightmare, which is why most people never get around to it. But we are not going to do that. Instead, we're going to cheat the system. Here's a trick. Just move everything out of your inbox. Seriously. Create a new folder, call it Old Archive or Deal with Later, or even Stuff I'll probably never read, and dump everything in there. Guess what? You've just hit inbox 0. That's right, you did it. No need to sift through years of emails or stress over what's important. It's all still there, just out of sight. And now you can actually start fresh without the mental clutter. This may seem counterproductive, but it's way better than spending years and years with an overwhelming inbox. Step number 2 is creating a simple system that you'll actually use. Now that your inbox is gloriously empty, let's make sure it stays that way. The key is creating folders, but not too many. You do not need 20 different categories. That's how people get stuck organizing. Keep it simple. Think about the main areas of your life that generate emails. For me, in my personal account, that's personal and home and family. But for home and family, I don't really overcomplicate things. Everything goes in one folder except for bills. Bills get their own spot because if I can't find them quickly, that's a problem. I have different email accounts as well. One for personal and family stuff, the one I just mentioned. I call this my main account. An email for writing related things, and an email for coaching and YouTube. And of course, a fourth email, which is the one assigned to my work and my 9-to-5 job. Now, if we are dealing with the work inbox, chances are your categories will need to be a bit more well organized than this. Say, if you're working, for instance, on multiple projects at once. What I like to do is always having a main admin folder and then a project folder per year. And then 2 folders inside each yearly folder, one for in-progress projects and another for closed projects. A complete project will be dragged from the in-progress folder to the closed folder whenever the project is complete. Inside the in-progress folder, there will be folders dedicated to each project I'm working on. Now, depending on the email client you're using, you may have more or less options to personalize this list of projects on your left sidebar, but I do like to keep a sort of symbol-based system to quickly jump to projects that are immediate and require my attention. Outlook, for instance, doesn't really allow you a lot of personalization, so I just use a text system to do this. So in an ongoing or in-progress project folder, if I have, say, 10 projects that I need to work on, I'll add a text-based symbol or an in-app customization option to differentiate those that are on hold, which means I'm personally not working on something about that project at the moment because I'm waiting for a milestone that's not my responsibility. And those that are working on it, which are the projects that have tasks that I am currently working on and that need my output ASAP. At this point, you can go back to your old archive and pull out anything actually important and drop it into your new folders. If you run into emails that don't fit anywhere, just leave them in old archive. That way they're still saved, but they're not clogging up your inbox, but you can still search for them using your search bar. Step number 3 is to turn your emails into tasks because, let's be honest, that's what they really are. Here's the real reason email gets overwhelming, because they're tasks in disguise and they will give you decision paralysis. Think about it. When you open an email, there's usually something you actually need to do. You need to reply, you need to follow up, you need to read it or read any attachments, you need to schedule something, whatever. Usually they always need something for you to do. And yet, instead of handling it or adding it to your to-do list, you just let it sit in your inbox. So not anymore. From now on, if an email requires action, you need to turn it into a task. If you're using a task manager like TickTick, Todoist, or Akiflow, most of them let you forward emails straight into your task lists. Akiflow, which is the one I use, lets you tag emails right inside Gmail so they automatically show up in your tasks, using the start feature for instance. You can then click and drag the tasks that are created from emails to your calendar and treat them as any other task in your to-do list. You can then assign them a project, a date, notes, and so on. The goal here is to stop using your inbox as a to-do list, because that's when things start piling up and feeling unmanageable. And if an email isn't a task, you can archive it as closed and just move on. Step number 4 is to schedule email time and stop checking it every 5 minutes. Okay, so the good news about email is that email is very simple. Anyone can reach inbox 0 and anyone can be very, very organized when managing their email accounts. If I can do it with 4 email accounts, you can do it with your email accounts. The only secret here is to have a solid routine to maintain your email in top condition. The people with the most organized inboxes aren't necessarily the ones with fancy folders or the best email apps or clients. They're the ones who have a good email routine. So instead of checking your inbox all day, you need to set specific times for email. Maybe you can check it twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. Personally, I have to do this every single hour, but I know that when it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 p.m., 1 o'clock, whatever, I need to check my email. And I know that between those times, all I have to do is engage in deep work. Maybe you can dedicate 30 minutes after lunch to process everything at once. Whatever works for you. This really depends on your routine and your workload as well. The key is just to stop letting email constantly interrupt your day and at the same time get so overwhelming that you feel you have no action, you have no plan on how to deal with it. And once you've gone through your inbox, that's it, you're done, close it and move on. Now, to really keep things in check, you'll also want to do a quick weekly review, which means going through your folders, clearing out anything old, and making sure nothing slipped through the cracks. And once a year, do a big cleanup to make sure your system is still working, and that's when I usually move my projects from one yearly folder to the other, close things that are done, and just, create my new 2025 folder and start from scratch. So the bottom line is, email isn't going anywhere, but that doesn't mean it has to control your life. With a few simple habits, you can keep your inbox really organized, stress-free, and actually useful without spending hours sorting through it or simply avoiding looking at it altogether. So if you're ready to finally take control of your inbox, you just need to go through these 4 steps and, you're going to have your email controlled, I promise. And there's no better tool for integrating all these habits than an app specifically designed for time blocking, and that is Akiflow, our kind sponsor for today's video. Not only is Akiflow a beautifully designed time blocking platform, but it also significantly simplifies your life by consolidating tasks from various apps. For example, if you organize your projects in Notion, you can effortlessly import all of your tasks into Akiflow and then drop them into your calendar. The click and drag interface also makes it super easy to reschedule tasks, and one feature I love in particular is the command bar, which allows you to swiftly create tasks using just a few keywords. You also have a unique feature called time slots. These are containers for tasks. So for instance, imagine you schedule 1 hour for admin work between 9 and 10 a.m. You can create a time slot called admin work and then schedule specific tasks like update website, enter emails, and follow up with clients on that time slot. It's also a great way to schedule routines in your calendar as well. AccuFlow also allows you to select your availability for meetings with clients, teammates, and other people. You can easily use the calendar to create your available slots and then send the link to whoever needs to book a meeting with you. If your life involves juggling tasks across different platforms, whether for work, college, home management, personal projects, or your own business, then AccuFlow is an excellent choice to streamline your entire productivity system. So to start using AccuFlow today, click the link in the description box to get started.